All right. So I suppose the real reasons, why we're all here today. And when PJ and I have discussions with our clients or potential clients at the time, we have a strategy session. And in that strategy session, we get a lot of feedback from our clients around where and where they're battling with their sort of IT sort of deployments, as in their delivery or growing their IT business or whatever it is. There is that whole issue around what the challenges are. And here are some of the challenges. I just want to go through them because it's quite important to understand the challenges that you currently have so that we can basically either help you out now or 6 months or 2 months down the line, whenever it is. Okay. When I talk to people initially about IT, their IT business, I've been an IT business owner before, sold to a top global company, top 30 global company here in Sydney. It was nationwide. And we started out without a vision. We were just techie guys. And probably 3 years into it, we realized we needed a real vision. We needed to know where we were going. And we needed to know what we're going to get out of it. Because running an IT business, it's not easy. It's pretty hard. Okay. It's very challenging. And on top of that, there's a lot of risk that you take as a business owner. So what are you really doing it all for? And I know everyone thinks about that at the end of the year and going to year's kickoff resolutions, what they want out of their business. But I really want to challenge you guys is, what do you really want out of your business? It's important to know that, because it's the yardstick that you're going to actually, and the tempo that you're going to have to actually execute on that. All right. The next thing is, when we speak to people, they have a business for a while and they're flatlined. So get to a certain point where they're actually not big enough. There might be 5 people and they can't actually get to the next sort of level of maturity, which is around 10 people company. And on top of that, you can't move from 10 to 30 or 30 to 100. And there's certain stage gates and certain components that you have to actually achieve. I'm going to show you this in our roadmap later on. It's pretty interesting because a lot of people get caught at five-man companies and then move to 10, and then that organization changes. It changes quite a bit. Okay, so if you're flatline, that's a common problem we seem to have. They can't win any new clients, and that's what PJ actually does. He's the coach on lead generation, and we do a whole thing on that. I'll ask him maybe to just give him a 5-minute overview later on. The next thing is that they got a service line. Maybe that service line's dying. Maybe it's getting more competitive. Maybe that service line is no longer the flavor of the month, and they've got to bring in another technology or another services line to actually service their current existing clients, and they can't launch that. So that's quite a challenge as well. Also, I'm just going to nip through there a few more. You've probably read a few of those already, but they can't find people to grow. Don't have the real vision on how to grow. Hell of a challenge. If you do not have a future state of what the business looks like, you'll never get there. It's sort of like the GPS. If you are driving in a car and you want to go from A to B and you don't know where you're going, say you landed in a new country, you now pull out Google Maps or Apple Maps, or my car, if it's rental, might even have a GPS in the car. And you don't really worry about that any longer. Well, when I used to go on IT projects in Europe and that many, many years ago, they never had GPSs at that stage. They all had an little A to Z or a little map to get there. And it would be a bit of a mission to work out in a new country or new town how to get there. It's the same with your business. If you don't have a map, if you don't have a roadmap, very hard to execute against that. Don't know how to leverage consultants. People get a lot of consultants on board, but are they just using them to get billable hours? Or are they actually helping them to leverage them to actually grow and actually, help them grow your organization? And it's crazy that some of these consultants we're hiring are really expensive, but we're not asking them to do a little bit extra. and how do we actually get them motivated to do so? All right. Some have delivered small projects, but as they grow, they get more projects. How do you do multiple projects at the same time and deliver the bigger projects? Also, how do you keep staff motivated? At the moment, a lot of clients that I'm working with have got really good retention on their staff, and that's because they put a lot of effort into looking after the staff, making sure that they treat them like they should be treated. Okay, but yet you read the newspaper, IT salaries are going up, all these other challenges that are happening in the industry. And it's not only happening in Australia and New Zealand, it's happening everywhere. So we do with US and UK clients, the same issues, okay? Business owners are isolated, and more importantly, they don't have time to work on the most important things. It goes back to that vision, very linked. So when people are actually working on actually doing something, they realize they can't actually focus on growing the company itself. Okay, so it's really important to make sure that they have time set aside to work on the right next thing to grow the company. That makes sense.
Ian, can we just get the guys to write in the chat? There's 13 points, just to get an idea where you guys are at, 1 to 13. You guys just can type in there, 1 to 13. On those points where you guys are at in the business, just so we can get some gauge.
Yeah, great idea, PJ. And if you guys want to put your video cameras on, that's awesome as well. Yeah.
I think the gentlemen are shy to share.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, everyone, this is open. The workshop, you can really ask.
Okay. All right. So
9. Vivan says 9.
Great. Fantastic. So hopefully these points resonate with you all. There's maybe one or two others. I actually put the slide together a while back, and I haven't really updated it, but really it should be the same. Okay. It's not really much of a challenge on these things. All right, so the next thing we're going to go on to quickly is we're going to talk a bit about the flow success framework and why it's important. So the reason why we have a thing called the flow success framework is because it helps us through a process to get a result. Okay, and I take this process through all our clients that join the E12 Everest program. And the reason why is when people join, there's a lot of challenges they have, and I don't know where those challenges are yet. And sometimes it's hard to diagnose where those challenges are, where the problems are underlying. So what I've developed over the last 6 or 7 years is a process where we take clients through. It is a one-page strategy. We're going to do this all today, guys. Right? We're going to do all today. So, and we're not going to be able to do it all complete 100% because you won't have enough time. It's only a 2-hour workshop. But we're going to do some of this today. And if you start writing these things down and start doing it, you're going to actually start to execute on this stuff, which is what we want to do. So we need to everyone have a 1 to 3 year plan. And it's a high level plan. When I have discussions with clients and they come on board, they show me, we're all technical people generally, a detailed plan. And oh my gosh, it's 68 to 80 PowerPoint slides. It's a vision that has been her. And I go, wow, that's awesome. But to execute on that is just too hard. We want something simplified. We want something that you can talk to your partners with, or your consultants with, your staff. We want something that you can just read and tweak on the fly once a quarter. We want things that you can actually then execute quickly against and not get caught in the weeds. So we want to make sure it's a simplified approach. So we're going to do the one-page strategy. It's very simple. We're then going to move into what we call the preloaded calendar. Now, I do this every year with all my clients. I've got 3 coaches that coach me. One of my coaches basically gets me to go through this. We do it even in our own business. We have a preloaded calendar. And it's really important because we want to try and achieve everything. As humans, we just load a whole lot of stuff on us. And basically, we want to try and achieve it all. But at some point, you've got to realize that you can't do everything. right? There's only so much you can do. And that's what the preloaded calendar is all about. We're going to talk about the rocks, the major things that are going to change your business at a high level, right? We're then going to talk about the pebbles, the smaller things, very important as well, that they're going to actually work, change the business as we go. And then we're going to talk about the things that are in between the rocks and the pebbles. It's the sand, but they're also important. And they're about personal goals, right? You've got to have an overview. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, actually. I've got another session with him today. And we're talking about his plan for the next 18 months. And we're going through this exact same process. And, he just wants to do everything. And I'm going like, that's great. But, you're a 15-man company. You're not a 150-man company. There's no way that you can achieve all these things. You've got to make sure the sand component is in there, because that's your personal life. And if you don't look after your personal life, guys, it's, you will run out of steam and you're going to hit a wall and you're going to go, why the hell am I going to do all this work? And you want to sell your business or get out of it and go work for someone else. So it's
just a quick question. Just a quick question, guys. Any guys got a preloaded calendar yet? Any guys do this already?
Yeah.
I'm not. I didn't understand the concept of preloaded calendar. To be very honest.
Okay.
What do you mean by preloaded calendar? Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll go through it in more detail. So that's great. I love that question. We will go through that actually as we're going to go through that. We spend about half an hour going through the preloaded calendar. So at the end of the session, you're going to walk away with something around the preloaded calendar. You're going to walk around with the business strategy. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this. And then we're going to talk about this. All right, really important. That'll set you up for success. Okay, that's really important. All right, normally it takes, we do this with our clients, but normally it takes, 4 weeks to do the one-page strategy. That's because they're busy running their jobs, servicing their clients, delivering to their clients, and they've got to go away and think about things. It's actually quite easy to do. It's just a bit of thought process. How to stress test it and what. When we talk about the preload calendar, that takes 2 weeks. We do the roadmap, and then we do the ongoing 6 weeks, which is a really good way to break things up into little project life cycles to deliver internally 6 weeks projects. So you can do sprints and cycles and not kill yourself. Okay. So that's really the framework. What we're going to do next is, before we jump into this, I'm just going to explain something that we actually do in our organization. All right. And when people want to engage us, there's two paths to engage us. Today, we're talking about scale. Here, we're talking about lead gen. That's me, and that's PJ. So if you ever get to speak to us in the future, just know where you're speaking and the focus. PJ, could you actually just jump on quickly, just give them a 5-minute overview of lead gen? What does lead gen look like? Because a lot of people do not understand lead gen. A lot of people battle with lead gen. Lead gen for me at a high level is nurturing your customers. It's having a potential process where you have a mechanism to nurture your customers in an automatic way. And you can actually grab those customers when they're ready to become, clients of yours. Okay. So PJ, would you like you're going to jump on there? Can you take over?
Yeah, sure.
Slide? Yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Let me just see if I can get it. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet, PJ.
Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
No, we can't.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, let me just get it up. Just bear with me quick, guys.
Sorry.
Can you see that?
No, we can't.
Okay, I've got problems.
Okay, all right, no worries.
Okay, I'll just chat about it. No problem. Okay, so
PJ, why don't we just, we can come back to that after a 5-minute break and
Okay.
let you do that. It's fun. Because I think the diagram that you have is great. It's visual, a good visual to go through when you're doing that. So what I'm just going to quickly talk, just a brief component on this quickly. When people talk about lead gen,
Just share your screen there. Ian, okay?
sorry, I've let's quickly, yep. When people talk about lead gen, they get confused. That's lead gen, and this is sales. I'm just gonna put the CRM. This is the normal diagram I draw. That's marketing, is lead gen. People, when I talk to business owners, they've had enough of lead gen. They've had enough. They don't know, they've been on courses, they've spent a lot of money doing telesales, whatever it is, they've spent a lot, advertising a lot. You've got to realize this takes a while to get done. There's a process to do all that. It just doesn't happen naturally. It's a long-term burn. It's not short-term fix all the time. And a lot of people wanting short-term results. It does not work. Okay. Just want to make sure that we're clear on that. Let's get on to the 5 pages. I call it the 1-page strategic plan. The reason why I call it 1 page is if you get this all filled out correctly, you actually print it out onto 1 page. I've broken this up into so you people can see this online a lot easier. So it's 5 pages. These are the things that you should really have at a minimum if you want to do a business in IT. All right. So don't cut corners, folks. You know, don't cut corners. And don't get more than this. Just do this. Don't do anything more. I've been doing this for a long time. And it works. And it's so much easier to do it at a high level. The core values, like why are you doing all this? Is it just a job? Is it something you liked before, or you got pissed off with your previous employer and you left and said, I want to become a consultant or contractor, and then you ended up doing this yourself? So these are the questions, you know, that actually drive you in your core values. What should you be and what shouldn't you be is really 2 questions you should be asking yourself. Okay, one of my core values is helping people out. All right. So I was very technical. I enjoyed doing what I was doing. And then at some stage, I realized I actually enjoy helping my clients out. And then when I sold my a couple of IT businesses, I tried to go to early retirement. I then basically realized I was missing something, and I was missing helping people out. My session I had this morning from 9 to 10 with my existing clients was phenomenal. It was like we all high-fiving each other, all had some great wins over the last week. I was so pumped off that session. Okay, that's what motivates me. It really does. And so that's one of my core values, is helping people out and the community. What are your core values? So let's write them down. And I'm going to give you 1 minute to actually write them down, and then we're going to carry on. So normally stick to 5 to 6 core values, ideally. Put a word down. You know, integrity. It could be transparency. It could be, you know, whatever it is. Just write a few down. PJ, can you keep time? Sorry, I've got to.
You can drop it down also on chat.
Yep.
I can see that Rajiv is writing down.
Great.
Okay, Craig answered ethics, honesty, continuous improvement, and customer-centric.
Very nice, Craig. Very nice. That's good. So, Craig, those are great values. And the thing is, what I love to see when I talk to clients is when they fill that out, is basically, you know, let's say it's customer centric, which I think is always an important one, because they're the ones that, you know, really are paying your bills. You need to really have a sentence or two behind your values. So you can explain them in your words, okay? And what they really mean to you. Because integrity is quite a common one you have, or transparency. What does it really mean in your environment, or to means to you as well? When you're hiring people, you're going to talk to them and you're going to gauge, are they the right people to be working with you in your business or as a team member? You know, if there's a really good book out there called Top Grading, if you're ever going to hire a lot of people, a lady called Liz, I've met her a few times from America. Basically, you really want to make sure that you are looking at those values in that person. You're actually doing it subconsciously. You're not even doing it like as a task. So when you're looking at someone, you're basically going, is he got these values? You don't know you're actually doing it, but you are. If you don't see those values in that person, you won't have a gut feel. That's generally what happens. I used to call it the pub test. Never really took clients to the pub. I mean, it's staff members to the pub. If I couldn't take a person to the pub and have a beer with them and have a conversation, totally random conversation, I couldn't hire that person because I knew he wouldn't be able to interact with my clients. Okay, so I had this thing called the pub test. I never took people to the pub. I just said, if I can't have a conversation, then my clients can't have the conversation. And that's the way I had it. Great there by Riley. Unparalleled level of service, stress-free, great, honestly, great ones.
Rajiv's got a good one.
Yeah.
Provide value and trust. I mean, that's provide value. That's good.
Yeah. Trust is everything. People buy from people. It's all about trust. If they don't think they trust you, they're not going to buy from you. It doesn't matter if it's a small deal or a multi-million-dollar deal. Okay. It's about trust. All right.
People put honesty.
Yeah, good. Right. So also some of those things are like honesty can be for client facing and internal. And sometimes if people, what I try and say is if you get 6 or 7, try and put 2 or 3 internal and 2 or 3 external if possible. Okay. Just so that you know that there's a blend of both. Really important. It helps you hire, retain staff, and actually brings you back to a core on why you're doing things. I'm going to get through that next as well. Okay, so the next slide that you guys should have there is really the purpose. Like, why are you doing all this? Why am I coaching? People ask me all the time. I don't need to. Well, when I started coaching at 41 years old, I couldn't retire. It's too young. And I tried to become a non-exec on boards, but it's so boring at IT companies that I decided to become a coach. Well, I didn't decide. One of my clients said, hey, you just come and coach us. Coach us. And that was, quite a few years ago. And I've just been doing it ever since. So my purpose is to help my clients achieve what they want to achieve. Okay. And when I bring them on to this process, it helps me work out what they want to get out of it. It's not my dream. Okay, I've lived my dream 3 or 4 times. It's their dream. My dream is to make sure they get what they want. Right? So what's your dream? What's your purpose? Is it to be the best in your area, location? Is it to be the best in the country? Is it to be the best, in a certain niche? Or maybe you're not the best. Maybe you are number 3 in your certain area. Maybe you want to raise your game and be number 2 in the next, couple of years. So what is the purpose? What's your number 1 purpose of why you're doing this? All right. Now, I had another client recently who basically was having a discussion around purpose with their staff. And they were basically having a discussion around, their document management company. And, what's the purpose of doing all this? And then they decided to actually look at the purpose of the projects they're doing for the clients and realized that it just wasn't document management. It was a whole lot more. It was saving lives. It was doing a whole lot more stuff with these projects around document management. document management was the enabler. So it's really important to think about it also from your customer perspective than yourself. But you've got to have the purpose. And the reason why you have a purpose is that's what's going to drive you in the morning. So my driver is I'm going to wake up and I'm going to help my clients out. That's my number one driver. They're battling. I've done it. I've been there. Not once, twice, 3 times. I've had the pain. I know where they're going. So when they phone me late at night with a big problem, I'm there to help them out. Okay. So the next thing is we want to get on to is the actions. What are the actions to live those values? What's the purpose and the BHAG? Okay. What's your big goal? And you don't have to have a big scary goal. You might just want to have a sustainable business that just does enough to keep you happy and relaxed and working 2 days a week. That could be the goal. A lot of my clients start off really busy and then they move into a 3-day week. They get other people to run the business. So, for example, I'm the founder at Loading Growth, but PJ is my general manager. He runs the business. I don't want to do that. It's painful. Thanks, PJ. So he does all that. I do what I want to do, which is coaching. Maybe that's what you do in your business. You might have someone who does the work behind the scenes, but then at the end of the day, you basically are, doing what you love within your business. That could be the purpose as well. So there's a lot of stuff in there. Someone says what the BHAG is. The BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. You can Google that, Rajiv. It'll actually it's a common saying. It's what's the big thing it's out there that you want to get to. What's the thing that's going to drive you to get there? What's the big goal? Okay. The next thing we're going to get to, anyone got some purposes they want to share at all? I see a lot of writing down, which is fantastic. Anyone want to share anything? Nope. Yeah. Okay. Going to buy a house. There we go. That's good.
So I don't think you can take these guys to your brewery because maybe these guys don't want to go have a drink.
Maybe not. Buy a house. That's good. That's a goal. It's fantastic, and it's expensive, as we know in Australia. Create a profitable and respectable business. That's great. Profit first. That's another good book to read, actually. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the next area, the targets. All right. Now, when people start with me and they go through this exercise, I just want to know a couple of basic numbers. And these are the ones down the side here, gents. It's these ones here. What's the date that you actually want to achieve this? Now, 3 years, it could start from the 1st of April, 3 years' time, or calendar year, or financial year. Depends where you're at. You want to talk about the revenues. I'll just talk about the top line revenue. Just keep it simple. Top line revenue. What do you want to achieve? Is it 150 grand a year? Is it $3 million a year? Is it $10 million a year? I've got a lot of clients doing a lot more, from small to large. The same process, the same content we go through helps them all. Talk about the profit. How much money do you want to have every year? To make it worthwhile. Like, this is a lot of work you're doing. How much money do you really want to make? The margin. The headcount. Now, the operational headcount is, how many people, you need. So if you've got 30 people in your business, you might need 5 or 6 people to support the 30. It could be sales, it could be back office, it could be resource manager, it could be external people as well. There might be contractors or suppliers, like a legal team or a HR person, whatever it is. There could be multiple people doing that. Headcount is generally the headcount, and then the split. Is it like, 50% perm, 50% contractors, or 80-20? Depends what you want to get out of your business. People always ask me, hey, if I want to sell my business at some stage, what's the right level of headcount? It needs to be 80-20. Anything less than that, you're going to get marked down. Okay, if you want to sell your business at some stage. Customers, how many customers do you think you need to do to get this target? How many customers? Is it 2, 3? Now, you probably might not know, but at the moment, just put something down. You can go and verify this later, okay? You might also look at the deal size that you're currently doing for each of those deals and actually then multiply by how many clients you actually need. You could do it that way. So if you've got, MSP type style business, you might be doing a 20K deal a year at a client. If you want to do 100K or 200K, you get 20K divided by 100 or 200K and you get your number. It's 10 times from 20 to 200K. You need that's the amount of deals you need. All right. And the positioning is, where do you want to be positioned in the market? We talked a bit about this early on. This is like a scorecard, gents. You will update this all the time. We do internally here, we do a quarter business review and we get clients to come in and actually do a quick review. I do it all the time and we see where they're at with it. Things change, the market changes. On Tuesday night, the federal budget was released. I have 4 or 5 clients really targeting security because it's one of the big areas now. Because there's also going to cloud computing, big area. If you're MSP, just move people to the cloud on 365. There's lots of different things they should be targeting right now from the federal budget. But if you didn't have that in your roadmap, how are you going to target that? So I've been talking about this to my E12 clients for the last 2 months. We've been setting things up so they can execute on it. So they're on the bang. They're on it come yesterday morning, really been talking about it. So they want to be positioned as the security company in WA. This is one of my clients. Fantastic. Awesome. Go for it. All right. Now, this next sort of column here, we want to talk about the where, and how you're going to get there in 3 years' time. It's the capabilities. So let's say, for example, security. It's a hot topic now, all that stuff, and you don't really do much of it. But next 3 years, you want to have maybe 30, 40% of your revenue coming through security. Well, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to have a focus on that to grow that as a service line. So security could be one of those things. Okay. It could be a focus to grow that number. What are the other things that you could be doing? It could be things like upgrades. Solution selling, different type of solutions that you might have. You might have IP that you bundle in as a software product and sell it. Like, through Microsoft Dynamics or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. You have whatever you have as your key capabilities to get you to the next 3 years. Really important. I'm just going to give you a moment or two while I grab some coffee or some water. Someone's doing yeah, go for it.
Just a question from Craig there. Our purpose is to support the business purpose of our customers through delivering intelligent and sustainable RTC systems. Would need to understand how you would do this in practice and allocate resources to do it.
Yeah, is that a question? That is, eh? Craig, do you want to elaborate on that a bit more? Is he still there? Can't see.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself,
Craig.
We can have a conversation while.
sorry, I was muted.
So I want to say sorry as well, Craig. We should be on Teams because everyone uses Teams, but I know you guys don't use Teams and everyone's not using, not using Zoom. So yeah, anyway, go for it, Craig.
Yeah, we've recently gone through our strategic planning and doing our purpose and all that type of stuff, and there are only edits. That one was one of our. We haven't finalised it yet, but one of the things that we had as our purpose was that, and look relatively comfortable with it. The wording could be a bit better, but our purpose really is to support our customers through delivering intelligent ITC systems so that they can succeed. I guess that's all well and good. There's the plan to get. What does that mean, and how do we get ourselves in a position where we're actually delivering on that purpose? It's one of our next steps, I guess. It's what's over the next 3 years, and that's coming back to, I guess, training. What are the systems we're going to sell? What the best of breed that we're going to come up with to actually achieve those goals for our customers? And that's where we're currently at the moment. How do we do
Great.
that?
Yeah, no, that's important. But you're talking about it now, Craig. So you actually, guess what's going to happen? When I do this exercise with my clients, is they actually end up talking to their clients about their purpose. And the communication we start to have around this plan actually gets translated to our clients. I had a client who came back to me last month going, man, I can't believe it. I'm even talking the language that you're talking to me, to my clients, and they have told me that what am I doing is changing the perception of what they are doing on their client side. And they're going like, that's amazing. So if you have these goals down and these purposes and all these things you have, you'll keep on reviewing it and you'll get refined and you get better and you talk internally about it and you'll actually start to live it and breathe it. And then you start to deliver on it as well. There's a few little tricks to do that. But yeah, great insight there, Greg. I love that. Thanks for sharing that with us. It's great to get people to share things because, it gives me a break. I can have some water, but also it gives you guys a different perspective on things as well. So Rajiv, migration. Yeah, so that's a key capability. Damn right. Everyone's moving. There's always migrations. When I started out as a consultant in the UK, I couldn't believe, every 3 or 4 years there's migration hardware, software. Now it's, there's always migration. There's always a plan for migration. So big time. Okay. That's good. Now the next thing here is really around the brand promise. Now, all these things are great. Okay. But how do you live your brand? How do you actually make it happen? It's basically what Craig's talking about. Okay. How do you actually do that? So if one of the things could be your values around great outcomes for customers or customer centric, I think someone wrote there. I don't know who could have been Craig as well. How do you know that the customer's getting value? Well, you've got to have KPIs around that. And some of these things, are quite hard to measure, without a doubt. And when I talk to clients through this, it depends on where they're at. If they're a small little business, there's a few little things you can do. If you're a mid-sized business, there's a few more things you can do. If you're larger, there's a few more things you can do. So it's taking that perspective and working out what it's for you. So when I'm talking to you today as a collective, I'm not sure even anything about your businesses. So, you've got to just think about it, small, medium, and large, by the way. So in a small perspective is you could send out a brief survey and ask them, after you go live, out of 5 or out of 10, was it good, not good? And ask 2-3 questions. That's it, no more. Okay? Don't do anything bigger than that. Just 3 questions. Come up with simple 3 questions and just make that part of your workflow. And then once you get some feedback, you can actually don't even have to send out a survey if you don't even have a system like that. All right? You can basically just pick up the phone and have a conversation with them and say, we'd just like to have a conversation with you. How did we do? And, where can we do better? All right? That's part of your brand promise. Another part of the brand promise is I used to always say to our clients, and my clients I've got now, a coach, have got similar brand promises. We've worked out their brand promise. It's their valuation, their differentiator between them and other companies. I'll give you an example. I used to say to clients, big clients I had, if you've got a problem, phone me at any time in the morning, any time of the day. It doesn't matter if it's early morning, late at night, anytime, just give me a call. Right? We will solve this problem. If you don't happy with your bill, don't pay it. Phone me up and delay the payment until we fix it. So these are the type of brand promises I had built in. Okay. In fact, I've got a brand promise for E12. And I said to the client, and they actually brought it up this morning. And I said to them, if you don't do your number that we've set out to do in this plan, in this one-page strategy, the following year you get my services for free. but you've got to execute on the things and you've got to do things right. You've got to, there's a few caveats. Okay. And he said to me this morning, Ian, you've actually delivered on your promise. We've gone from 4.2 mil to 6.5 this calendar year. Sorry, this financial year, which is about to finish. That's what they're targeting. All right. That is my brand promise. What's your brand promise to your clients? All right. You've got to really have something that's different. Otherwise, there's a lot of IT vendors out there, software vendors, services vendors. What's your brand promise? Has anyone got a brand promise or anything like that? If you're a big consultancy firm and you're competing with Accenture, brilliant. There's so many brand promises you can do that they can't do. If you're a small services firm competing against small other services firm, yeah, just have a simple one. All right. Okay. Really important to have some brand promises. So you can do surveys, questionnaires, you can do a whole lot of things around the brand promise. But if you don't write them down and track them, how do you know you're going to live your brand promise? And it really important, because that's part of your value system and part of what, you go to market with. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? I'm just going to have a quick read up. Anyone want to ask
G-Man, put in their brand promise. We make it simple to understand. Great.
Okay, I like that. Good.
No friction.
Don't forget those wheels turning. That's right. Just on board the client, make it easy. That's it.
When I was working in Mauritius, there was a client I was working with there. Their brand promises we pitch. Because a lot of companies in Mauritius didn't pitch up because they're on Mauritian time. So they said, hey, we pitch.
Brilliant. There we go, Riley. Tell them what they need, not what they want, and not what we want. Yeah, really good. That's it. Sometimes you've got to be really strong with your clients. The clients don't know what they want, guys. I used to say this to my staff. I had 120 staff at one stage in Australia, 120. And I used to coach them all the time what to say to our customers. And I would say, the customer's never wrong. And they go, but Ian, it's like the customer's never right. And no, I say, the customer's never wrong. And I had to explain to them that as a consultant, you've got to actually convince the customer that you're right. So they believe what you're saying is correct. And they're indoctrinated in what you're saying. Because if you're not, they will come up with the solution. They will come up with what they think they need. And they'll tell you, and you'll deliver it. And 9 out of 10 times, it will be shit house, useless. So you've got to make a stand for yourself and for your company when you're with your customers. Make a stand for them. They're paying you money. All right. So you've got to have that trust. You've got to build that trust. You can't just go to a new client and tell them, hey, you're talking bullshit. This is the way we do it. We've done it 20 times already, and you haven't done it once. You've got to build that trust, obviously. Okay. G-Man, we're not a tech, so we speak English. Great. Like when clients come on board, I quickly look at the websites initially and I go, oh my shit, I understand what they're doing because I've been in it for 28 years, whatever. But most of our clients, their clients don't understand. It's like read the website. There's no solution outcomes. It's about techie stuff that they're delivering. They don't have a clue. So it's the same thing. Well done, G-Man. Make sure you speak English, even on your website. All right. All right. Okay. Now we've gone from 3-year goal. Sometimes it's big picture. Sometimes you're just sucking fresh air, as I say. It doesn't matter. Put a start out there. You can change it, guys. All right. So don't be too hard on yourself. What we're going to go next, though, is we're going to go down to a year. Now we're talking. Now we've got to have a bit more logic behind the number. Okay, it's the same process. It's the same thing we want to do. Okay, we want to actually come up with 1 year of what you did. Now, how do you do this? There is some fundamental ways to do this, but there is a quick way for you guys to do. You can take the current year except for last April, May, June, next 3 months. So take the first couple of quarters, and you can just stipulate it right, that run rate that you've been doing for the last, 9 months, and stipulate that run rate into the next 3 months. That's going to give you a run rate. Now, when I say that to people, go, oh yeah, we got this deal on, we got that deal on. I go, look, to be honest, that's not good. It's not going to change much, right? And I'll tell you why. Because there's a saying, and it's a really good saying. Your past is your future. Listen to that, guys. I'm going to say it again. Your past is your future, right? Human behavior. If you act like a hooligan on the weekend at the rugby or at the football or something else, good chance the next weekend you go to a football match or a rugby match, whatever it is, you're going to act like a hooligan again. I can guarantee that. Your numbers if they are the numbers for the last 9 months, the good chance the next year is going to be the same. Your future is the same. In fact, I think I've got a couple of slides on that. I'm going to go through that just now. Actually, I'm going to do at the next break, I'm going to do the 4 future states, and I'm going to go through this. This is really powerful stuff. Okay. We really want to make sure that you actually get better, not stay the same. So in this situation, what I do to tell my clients, what I guarantee them is, if you take the current financial year, you round it up for the next year, and then you put 20% uplift on that number. That should be minimum. If you get engaged with us, what you should be able to do. All right. And there's a lot of things we do for our clients to get that 20%. Because it's just tweaking here, tweaking here, tweaking here. It's doing a bit of extra stuff. And we've got this thing down to a systemized approach. I'm IT. Once again, I like to systemize things. So basically, guys, write down quickly. What is your year ending next year? So we're looking in the future state. We're looking into the future. Okay. Let me know once you've done that.
I'll give you guys 2 minutes. You're ending down to.
Yep. So pause share that.
You got a minute left, guys.
It's good to see some people doing the work. Very happy about that. PJ, we're going to break just now for 5 minutes or 2 minute break, and then I would love to see if you can get onto your thing.
Sure.
If you can, just to give people a bit of an overview of what that looks like.
Okay, time's up.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So we've done the goals. We've done the numbers. That's fantastic. We've got to look at the capabilities to get there. Like, what are the capabilities that you got to do for next year? What are the key capabilities? Is it hiring more staff? Okay. Staff hire. Is it JVs? Is it product development? What are they? You know, what are those capabilities you need to have to make sure that you actually get that year goal sorted out? Now, when you're doing this exercise, put what you think isn't right in there, because we're going to go through a process just now. We're going to actually see what we can do, right? So don't worry about it yet. So if you've got some scary ones in there, just put them in there. All right. We have a whole lot of other stuff here on the side, which we won't do now. It just takes too long. Then what we're going to do, once you've done that, I just want you to finish off. And then we're going to stop for like 2 minutes. I'm going to leave this to do. And we're going to have a 2-minute break. I'm actually going to pull up another set of slides. I want to go through just that 4 futures thing. I think it's really powerful. Is around the actions for the quarter. So you're going to break that year up in your mind. Okay. Don't forget, this is just to get you going through the process. And then we're going to break it down by quarter. So for that quarter ending, what does that look like? What does that revenue number look like? What does that profit number look like? How many customers do you need, net new customers we need in the quarter? Like if you're a services company, it's net new customers generally, unless you can carry on with multiple year rollouts or monthly rollouts or quarterly rollouts. If it's product, it's obviously net new clients. Okay. It could be both. Most companies are doing both at the moment. Right. And then what we've got to come up as a theme for the quarter. So if you've got a couple of people in your team, it's great. But you've got to make sure there's a theme for it. And the theme is something that gets you guys excited. So it could be the Rocky theme. Now, I'm an ISO at the moment. My daughter's got COVID. So my son, who's 12 years old, and I have been watching every night for the last, because it's the only time we can get the TV without fighting it between my wife and my daughter. And we're watching Rocky Balboa, and we're on up to 5. So we're watching a Rocky every night. It's been quite interesting. So the theme could be Rocky, because he's got a toughness about him, survival. It could be something that actually resonates with you for that quarter. Okay. So what's the theme that could actually resonate with you and your team for the quarter? Really good if you get something like that. Godfather, there we go. All right. Grab a theme, put it in there. And when you're talking to you or your staff or whoever, your teammate or your co-founders, you've got a theme that you want to do for the quarter. Makes it more exciting, makes it more fun. Because when I think about Rocky, I think about survival, tough of the fitness, eye of the tiger. So get going, we're going to do some work, because that's what he did. He did all the work. So it could be the theme in that situation. The next thing
we even have a theme at gym.
Yeah, what's the theme at gym for the month?
This month is about PlayStation. So last night was Pac-Man.
Oh, brilliant. It's good. So you have a station set up like Pac-Man or something, or how does it work?
Yeah. It's like an assault course.
All right. Great. There you go. It makes it fun. All right. So, like everything else, you've got to track things. And the reason why we want to track things is not to be too hard on each other. So I have clients that come in here and they start arguing, the co-founders and the management team and everything else, and whatever it is. I said, no, come on, guys. It's about actually moving forward one step at a time. It's about the 4 futures. I'm going to go through it later on. It's about doing the next best thing for you guys. Okay. And getting tracking. So if you don't track, you don't know where you're going wrong. All right. So it's really important to understand if you're getting better, average, or worse. So you can then correct yourself. If you're not tracking yourself, you're not going to get there. So have a basic, if you're a small business, there's some basic ones we set up. But if you're a little bit better, you get automated ones right at the end. But, that's when you're a decent sized business. But you get basic, mid-level, as I call it, and then you can get automated. All right. I think that's enough just to be there. At the moment, I'm going to pause for 2 minutes. Can we have a 2 minute? Everyone get up, do a bit of stretching. So do you want to give us a time back, PJ? 2 minutes time, or it's 12 o'clock in Sydney time. So let's say
just use this famous thing called a mobile phone. Siri set a 2 minute timer and we're back. That's it.
Okay,
simple.
2 minutes. We're back at our desks, guys. Let's get some exercise, get some water, get some fresh air, walk around the block quickly, or to maybe the front door. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Thanks, everyone.
Ian, do you want to just take your screen off there? Let me just check if I can get mine up.
Were you able to share screen already?
There's something wrong here. It's just blank. It's not bringing up my reflector. Trying to see why isn't it bringing it up. You can't see it now, Jenny, can you?
Not yet.
Yeah. It's showing on my screen, but it's not reflecting. It's not reflecting.
You're allowed to share screen, right?
Yeah, I've got it up and running here.
I'm just going to hide while I eat.
Oh, no problem, G-Man. No problem.
No need to hide, G-Man.
When we do intensive sessions with our coaching, it's for 3 or 4 hours. Guys are trying hamburgers. It's all good. It's busy life.
I just don't want to make anyone jealous that I'm having these.
I know you're probably making us hungry. That's why I have a power smoothie.
Yes, that's why
through the day.
We have these lovely mild Italian sausages, homemade.
Oh man, heartburn stuff. Hey Ian, I can't get my thing to be working. I think you might have it on your power deck.
You've got enough IT companies on to remote help desk and fix it for you.
Yeah, I'm as Ian knows me, I'm not the greatest tech guy in the world, but I'm the greatest coach in the world. That's my speciality. But tech's Ian. Ian's a tech guy.
I'm in the same.
That's why.
I always say when customers go, so how technical are you? I go, I'm not technical. I'll leave that to the experts.
Exactly.
I'm
We
just,
only employ experts in the areas that we need to employ people in.
yeah, I'm here to paint pictures. That's all I'm here to do.
That's a question. Like, I've been a techie all my life. I'm trying to run the business now, but I can't get away from that part.
Mm.
So how would you do that? I always end up doing the techie part. So when you run the business, you just don't have time then.
I'm
You're on mute, Ian.
I learned one simple lesson many years ago when I ran pubs, and that was hire someone who knows what they're doing. It doesn't matter how much you pay them, hire them because they know what they're doing.
Correct. The thing is, there's a leap, there's a gap. I'm going to go through that right now, actually, but a mindset thing. So who was that question? I didn't see. Was that who asked the question?
That's from Dixon.
Dixon, yeah.
Dixon. Okay, Dixon. Yeah. So your question was, how do you actually get out of the business and grow the business rather than me delivering all the time? Yeah, for sure. It's a big problem. And one of the main things we do is, I've just got a slide up. I'm going to show you now quickly. It's not your slide, PJ. So
All right.
I'll have to get there later. People always ask, what do we actually do? And that's really help people scale IT services business and sometimes software businesses. And the reason why it's hard is exactly what Dixon's saying. You might have 3 or 4 founders, but they can't actually grow beyond that, or one person. It's really hard. You've got to have a process. You've got to have a program or approach to get you from A to B. All right. This doesn't happen naturally. So if I speak to people and they've actually got 15 people in their business, it's because they've seen someone else do it before, maybe in their previous journey of life when they were a consultant. They saw their boss growing the company and then they could actually do it. Okay, that's how I grew my first company. I was in the UK and I met a guy called Mark Hunter. He sold his business for 350 million sterling. I was his 32nd employee. When I left, we had 350 people just in the UK alone. Okay, and I saw him grow through that whole process. And when I left and came to Australia and back in January 2005, I just didn't, my vision was just replicating what he had at the time. So I was lucky enough to go through a journey, and I sent him an email 2 years later saying, look, you're an awesome guy, all that stuff, but the best thing you've ever did for me is show me what was capable. And that's where a lot of people don't have that luckiness to show them how it's done. Okay. A lot of other people ask us, I'm just going to go through a few little concepts. A lot of people ask us, how to actually grow from XYZ to XYZ in a year. And that's what we do within a year. We actually try and get people to move from A to B in that journey. And we're going to support you along the way. So we've got a community around us. We've got coaches around us. We've got processes around us. We've got software accelerators around us. We've actually got a whole lot of stuff. Okay, because I've been doing this for a while. I've been working out what's working, what not working for our current clients. So when people say to me, Ian, we can't do marketing. I know it's difficult, but we've got a marketing solution for that. We've got a marketing team that helps our clients. And that's so they can just focus on what they do. That's what we call it the IMA solution. It's like a HubSpot, but better for us because it's got our content in there that we've delivered. So that's what we do. Okay. I just want to quickly go through. I suppose this is the question that I wanted to try and answer. That's why I pulled up this deck. Is what's the hardest part about E12? It's the program that I run. PJ does sessions like this on the LG90 as well. But it's actually the hardest thing is the commitment. That's really what it is. It's like waking up in the morning and am I going to do it? It's not hard work because we make it simplified. We do frameworks, accelerators, templates, stuff that you just take and use. Like this morning, I actually went through with our clients around the call scripts for potential future contacts and leads. So they actually know what to do if they have to pick up the phone and speak to someone. I gave them 3 or 4 scenarios, went through those, they rewrote them up. They don't have to think now. If they've got to phone 3 people, different types of people, they know what to say. How easy is that? All right. So it comes down to this, the 4 futures model, which I've been talking about. All right, everyone have a look at this. You don't have this in your diet, in your workbook. And that's because I didn't think of putting it in there, to be honest, but I should have maybe. If you've got a piece of paper, draw this little diagram on that piece of paper. Just take it out, A3 or something, A4, whatever it is. Can't remember now, I don't use much of that stuff. Just draw this out on a piece of paper. And I want to make sure you do this, because this is like, this is where everyone, it's the hardest part of running a business. This is the hardest part. So just do this quickly for me, please. If there's one thing you do today, it's this. You're actually just do this like that. Simple. And in this process, this is where we are now. Here. Today. Which I believe is it the 30th today? I can't remember. Say the 30th.
30th today. Tomorrow
Yeah,
is the one of the foolish day.
I'm gonna build prank on you, PJ, tomorrow. All right. So
Yeah,
today's
April Fools.
April Fools. I'll get an April Fool one for the team. All right. So today is the 30th. Let's say, for example, we're talking about a 3-year roadmap that we just wrote up, a 3-year goals. All right. Now, let's say you wanted to grow your business by 50% in 3 years in total. Let's say 50%. For Dixon, that sounds like a 0.5 resource. You could easily do that within a couple of months. But I'm saying, let's think a bit bigger. In your 3-year process, what you wrote down, let's just think about what that is and put that down here. You can put it as a revenue number. It's easy sometimes, just revenue. It's a little easier to work out. So let's say you are at today $1 million business. And in 3 years' time, where would you want to be? Everyone written that out? No, I'm filling it out for you guys. Let's just actually take someone here. G-Man, are you still eating? Right. Who wants to be the guinea pig on the scenario? Hey, Rajiv. Like to hear that. Well done. Okay, let's say, can you give us a number? It could be your number, personal number, but if you're worried about sharing amongst strangers, don't worry. But where are you now? Can you give us a bit of an overview where you are now? Like a number, or you're a one-man shop, or you got a 5-man shop, 10-man shop? What is it?
Yeah, so I'm a one-man shop with contractors doing the work for me.
Great.
And started in 2020, middle of the COVID, July.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so very long time for a startup.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So
Okay.
first
So
year, yeah.
So what's your number? What do you reckon this calendar year will be like? What revenue number?
This calendar year, I will touch my 1.2 million mark, which I had
1.2.
planned. Yeah.
So let's say you're at 1.2. Let's say it's the 30th of June,
Yeah.
just to make it easier, because it's a bit more challenging with these June the 30th. Okay. For this discussion, where do you want to be? I'm talking to you in 3 years' time. Where do you want to be? So I'm phoning you up on our feature phone.
Yeah.
And we're talking, we're having a quick chat. I say, hey, Rajiv, I haven't spoken to you for a while. Where do you want to be in 3 years' time?
In 3 years' time, I would like at least to be on a 2 mil. Minimum.
2 million.
Yeah.
Minimum 2 million. Okay, so
Yeah.
1.5, 1.2, I think it was,
Yeah.
to 2 million. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now, sorry, carry on.
So I'm just trying to be realistic.
Yeah.
It could be, obviously, if I can make it more, that'll be great. But 2 million will be achievable. I think what's achievable, what I have
Okay.
at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, great. So if I phoned you up in 3 years' time, and we had a chat, and you said and you told me your number's 2 million, would you be very happy?
No. I think it needs to be a little bit more, to be honest.
Great.
But
Well,
yeah.
that's good. These are the
Yeah.
discussions
Yeah.
that I have with my clients every day of the week.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're having the discussion by yourself or with your co-founder.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
I like that. That's honesty, because I wouldn't be happy personally if I was you.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a $20.5 million business when I sold my first business, but that's different. But, I challenged myself. I had coaches, I had everything else, but let's say this, let's go through this process. I like that. We just use this as an example, right? You basically saying 2 million. It sounds like you would be over here. 2 mil. But it sounds like you want something more, like a 3 mil.
Yeah.
All right. This line here is the consistent line, the one in the middle. So if you did nothing, but did the same stuff as you did last year, which unfortunately is the case with 99% of the people I talk to, they get to a certain level and then they just plateau.
Yeah.
You'll end up at 1.2.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not me making up any porkies. That's actually where it's at.
Yeah.
In this scenario, unfortunately, like things do happen, like life goes on. There's a journey.
Yeah.
As I say to my 14-year-old and 12-year-old, the world out there is not that easy. It's nice and easy at home, but the moment you step outside, it is a different world out there. So at 1.2, let's say you can go 800K and you can do 300K. So this is really good. Very good. I'm just going to keep it basic. This is good. That's what you are now. That's bad. I'm just going to write this on. I have different words. And that's very bad. That's like, hey, I'm not even doing this for a living. I might as well go something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what scenario do you really want, Rajiv?
The very good scenario.
Yeah, very good scenario. I mean, if you didn't want it, you wouldn't be here. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because 90%, we had something like, 50 to 60 people register for this event. But only 10, whatever people put you up at a time. And I know that. We've got the stats. And the reason why it is because some people are actually busy and they can't make it and they watch the recording, whatever. But some people just don't want to do the work. It's a live workshop. And they just don't want to do the work. They're too busy. They don't want to focus on doing the real things. And that's the challenge. So if you want to do this, which I want you to do personally, the very good one, how do we actually get there to do that? How do we get you there to that? That's the question.
Yeah.
I want you that. I don't want you to do anything else. I don't want you on these. Because that's no fun. Okay, we don't want you to do those. We want you to do that. There is where I want you guys. I want you guys to be here in that zone, from a 2 mil to 3 mil and above. Okay, these are the discussions I have with my clients. I map it out. We go through the roadmap, and with that, we actually work out: can you achieve the different levels in a period of 3 years? Now, if you're at 1.2, I'm going to say you'll get to 2 mil within a year, and probably 3.5 in year 2, end of year 2, because that's what we do with our clients. We take them through a journey, okay, and we get them to ramp up, and we do all the stuff. There's all the stuff we do for them, okay. But that's what we do, because that's where we get paid for success. Like, I used to have consultants, and when consultants came to me and said to me, Ian, I wanted X amount of money, I go, shit, that's a lot of money. But if you are good, we pay you that money. I had 120 consultants in Australia, right? And majority of them were permanent, like 90% of them were permanent. So the thing that used to irritate me the most was if you're not certified and you think you are a senior consultant or a principal consultant or a level, top level consultant, and you're not certified, then I can't take you on. I don't care if you've got 25 years of experience. Because if you're a consultant, you've just got to turn up and do the work. You've got to be the best. You've got to be certified in the latest if you're going to do that niche, right? And it's the same thing with you guys, one of my clients. If you're going to come up and turn up and pitch up and do 30% of the work, you'll go from there to there, 30%. If you do 50% of the work, you go to here. I don't know if this is actually a good color to do that. Let me just do this. So what I do, I'll tell people is if, get another color. I'll get the old black color. If you do 30%, I'll get you to the first stage. If you do 50% of what I tell you to do, go to the next stage. If you do 50% plus, you go up more. That's how we do it. That's how we roll. It's simple. Okay. And it's not difficult. I normally do 2 hours of sessions a week with our clients, and we get through this process. They get into a rhythm. It's 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock every morning on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and they get so much out of it. And we've got videos, we've got accelerators, templates that people achieve. And that's how we get them through this. Okay. That's where I'm going. That's what keeps me going. That's the 4 futures model. Really powerful stuff. Okay. You've got to go back to this at some stage and review this and see if this is actually going to help you. All right. That's the 4 future. Any comment there, guys? Thanks, Rajiv, for that. That's awesome. Anything else? Rajiv, any comments on that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think I would say when you have to grow, you can't be doing the same thing and selling the same technology. You need to adapt to newer niche, what not every Tom, Dick, and Harry is doing in the industry. You need to add more things to your portfolio, which not many people are doing.
That could be the case. What's your,
one of the things?
Yeah, that could be the case. What area? Just let's quickly go next level down quickly. What are you currently servicing, and what for 1.2 million? Where do you get your revenue?
Majority of that is cloud migration and hyper-converged infrastructure.
Yeah, great.
And hardware.
Nice. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So there is a migration path there, and at some point, some of that stuff will get more of a commodity, and also it'll become. I mean, Microsoft, and AWS and those guys, their number one thing is to make it so simple that any Muppet can do it virtually. You know what I mean? And that's the problem that you have to compete with. And that's every IT. It's not just those 2 technology companies. It's all stuff. So what do? You got to actually understand your business, your clients a lot more, and work out where they're really battling. You've got to ask them questions. So if you've got clients, you can sell new services or tech to them. You can actually do a whole lot of stuff. It's really looking after that client base. A lot of people, when they come on and we go through a sales strategy and we talk about it, I'd say the quickest way to make money is to look at your current client base. Definitely. Right. And make sure you're utilizing your relationships you have with those clients really, really well. Okay. It's important. Okay. Thanks for that. That's good. Good space you're in. It's still going to be there for a long time. And there's just so many bolt-ons you can with that. It's awesome. Okay. All right. This is the question you need to ask yourselves. Still in the mindset stuff, and then I'm going to go back into the other stuff. You want to ask yourself, how do you stretch? How do I go from A to B? So it's a 4 futures model we just talked about. Okay, the 4 futures model. But what's the real question that gets you motivated to stretch? So let's go back to Rajiv for 1.223 mil. What's that stretch? What motivates you the most, Rajiv? Do you enjoy what you're doing?
I love it because it suits my lifestyle. I can do more things with the family and work 4 hours a day, and it's fantastic.
It's brilliant. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
not working for anyone out of the corporate world. Fantastic. Yeah.
Great. So that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So you like that? You like the world you've created. You've created your own world, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. But the challenge, just to add to this particular question, ask a stretch question. The challenge, what I face is like in the first 6, 7, 8 months of the year, I put in a lot of hours and hard work into it and reached the 1.2 mil sort of situation because my first year in the business. And but then suddenly when all the sales and cycle are closed and there's a gap of 2 months in between where nothing's happening there, right?
Yeah.
And the things are going to happen in June, July, August as per the pipeline. But this gap in between, which is your May, June or April.
Yeah.
It's sometimes what I feel is I get lost, say, okay, how do I fill that gap? What could I have done better? And,
Right.
Yeah. So
Great
I'm
question.
missing that thing. And I don't have any direction in certain point of time. In between it happens. Then I have to think and, go, I don't know, then. Yeah, so that's one of those problems I'm facing right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everyone has a gap.
Yeah.
Everyone has gaps. All right. I'll tell you, it's a sales problem, man. You haven't filled your own pipeline up. And that's typical. Okay. Because you're busy delivering. Like you want a project, you want a piece of work, and that's keeping you going for 4 or 5 months. And then once you've done that, you're three quarters way through it. You're month 3 into out of month 5. You go, oh, shit, I've got to think about, April, May, but I just haven't got time. I'll get that next month. And then next month, I'll get that next. Oh, Jesus, no, it's not April. I've got no work or limited work. What do I do? Well, it's too late. Okay. So it's about being prepared. It's about having those leading indicators to tell you that there's going to be a gap. When a salesperson talks to me, like a real hardcore salesperson who's been doing it for 20 years in IT services or software, and I look at their pipeline and there's that solution, that problem there, there's no short-term solution, unfortunately. There's no silver bullet. But I'll say to them, let's look back. If it's a large enterprise or mid-enterprise, it depends on or a small enterprise, depends on which level they're targeting. I'll say, look back in your calendar. If it's large enterprise, I bet you 6 months ago you're doing jack shit. The guy will look at me and go, what are you talking about, Ian? I'll say, let's pull up your calendar. How many meetings did you have? How many calls were you doing? What were you doing 6 months ago for that large enterprise? If it's small or medium enterprise, it could be 2 to 3 months ago. So you've got to have the rhythm to actually do this process all the time, ongoing. Okay, it's the rhythm. It's part of the preloaded calendar. We're going to touch on it briefly. If you don't have that rhythm in place, then you are going to go through these things, the gaps. You're going to have this scenario happening where you're going to have no utilization, no staff billable. Okay. And you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a loss of revenue. Okay. So you've got to have a mechanism or a process where you go and say to yourself, I know every month I'm making those amount of phone calls, those new people I'm talking to, and all those lead gen activities. That's what PJ actually does. You see, we've got a one-on-one coach that does that for our clients because of exactly that problem. All right. You want to have 3 times in services world, you want to have 3 times more pipe than you actually can deliver. In software sales, you want to have a lot more. You want to have nearly 10 times more. Okay. The reason why it's different in software versus services is because they've already got the product installed generally. So it's all about fixing that product, upgrading it. It's something else. They invested in that. New software, it's different because they've got to do a whole new case study for it. All right. So it depends on where you're at with the stuff. Okay. But you've got to have the leading indicators, right? Rajiv, if you don't sort that out, you're going to have this up and down, this trough. And this trough, for all you guys, have been through it already. I bet you G-Man's been through it.
Sort of.
Sort of, yeah, exactly.
But I suppose we're a little bit different because we're an MSP with subscription-based
Right.
monthly revenue.
That's great. That helps.
Yeah.
So you lock these guys in 2-3 years and off you go, potentially.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Look, I don't play in the same space as Rajiv. We play in small business, so our revenue is not as grand as Rajiv. But every month I know I've got X number of dollars, and I can work out when I have 2-minute noodles and when I have steak.
Exactly. So what Rajiv's got to worry about is he's got to worry about the troughs. Simple as that. So when I talk to our clients, it's like, okay, there's downtime. Sometimes you can't actually solve that. But if you've got 2-3 contractors that you know are really, really good, and you've got downtime, and there's a bit of IP you can build, a bit of software around a solution that's really good for the next client, you can pre-build that, take to the next client, upsell them straight up front for a cost, and then you recur some of that money back. Rajiv, can you do that in your scenario? Do you know what I'm talking about? Preload the work, do the work before you actually get the next client, or is that possible? Did you understand that, what I was saying?
Yeah, I was on mute and I was saying, yeah, that is possible. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But there's a whole process around that.
Yeah.
It's not straightforward.
No, it's not.
So if you've got a client that you know is coming here, at this point here, guys, and you know there's some type of work, or it's the same type of work you're going after over and over again, and there's some accelerators to make your life easier, you can still charge them, a 3-month program for you, Rajiv. But you could actually, really it's only 2-month cost because you've already incurred that cost down here. Okay. So you can actually just build them here at that point. There's ways around that. Okay. Hopefully that helps. There's about 5 other tricks to that thing, but you want to stay out of the red zone, guys. That's where the sharks live. And you swim with the sharks, it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to just build a little bridge every now and then, as I say, and just walk over that little dip and try and flatten it out a bit. So yeah, you're still going to get these downs. That's great. Send the staff on holiday. Build little IP projects, whatever are, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Cool. I hope that helped you out there, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's just get back onto this stuff. We are virtually finished this. Here we go. Getting onto the more exciting stuff. So we've done all this stuff. What we're going to do next is going to do the roadmap. All right. Now the roadmap's really exciting. All right. Because a lot of people look at this roadmap, and we gave it to you guys, I think, as a handout to help you guys out with it. But there's 2 components to the roadmap. There's actually an updated one with a whole lot more stuff on this, but this is good enough for you guys to start off with. I always talk about us first. It's why we're doing all this work. It's the shareholders. It's us trying to get the money back into our back pocket for taking that risk. Okay. So basically, what we've got to do is we've got to make sure, all right, that we have certain things ticked at the right level of where we're at. So Rajiv, you sound like a small business that's been going since 2020. So you might not have all this stuff done. That's fine. That's awesome. Okay. What you got to do is you got to basically say to yourself, have you designed your life? So the reason why I start with this first, it's really important. It's like, do you know what you really want out of it? So I know that someone said they wanted to buy a house early on. That's awesome. Okay. That's great. But what else about everything else in your life? And we're going to talk about the sand later on, but you've got to design what you want in your life. Otherwise, if you don't have a vision for what you want out of your business, you're not going to get it. When people say to me, oh, work-life balance, there's that concept that's been going around for 100 years. I still don't get it. Okay. I've never heard of a work-life. I talk to people about work-life balances, and it's just like the only way you can get a work-life balance is if you go and work for someone else. not as a business owner. Afraid to say. You know, you're always switched on, you're always wired, you're always solving someone else's problems, and you're always, you know, on call. All right.
And look,
So what's that?
and looking for the next thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So you've got to make sure that basically you know what you want out of life. So we go through all these things, shareholders agreement. These are some things that people don't even have when there are $30 million businesses. I have clients that still haven't got a shareholders agreement sorted out. Now, it's all right if you're only one person. That's fine. You don't need a shareholders agreement. The moment you've got someone else in your business, or you're bringing a new partner in 3 months' time, guess what's going to happen? It's like you're getting married, all right? And with marriages, 50% don't work out for whatever reason. I'm not going there. I've never been divorced. Don't want to get divorced. But if you do get a partner on board, you've got to treat it like a marriage. So get a shareholders agreement, get it sorted out. It protects you and the other party. It's fair. It helps you out. Talk about leadership teams. Talk about how to actually have employment agreements. Then you get a bit bigger. So that's where a lot of you guys are right now. It's probably at this level 1. Right? That's because I've only spoken to 3 of you guys left on the call. I know the other guys, Adrian and Bevan, and those guys are probably level 2, but you guys might be in level 1. It doesn't matter. But you need to do some of this. It's the general hygiene you need to get sorted out. Okay. Once you've done that, we want to actually focus on, you know, what do you want to do first? So you tick the box and you go, okay, we're going to do this. Or it might just be one thing. You highlight it and off we go to the races. Right? Let me put it in red. As that could be the right next thing. This is what I do with my clients. I come on board, we work through this roadmap, we see where they need to be worked, and we focus on that. Okay. So I've got a new client starting out in the next month. All I want to start out is there to get that done. Okay. They're a 15-man business. They've got 2 partners. The next thing is the exciting part. It's this. Right? It's the track, convert, deliver, and scale. That's the 9 components to any IT services business. 9. That's it. No more. Okay. It's these ones at the top and this one here at the bottom, the shareholders value. You just got to look at this and work out what's next. So you could do LinkedIn with the CA. That basically is what PJ does as a whole program of work for his clients. It's the LG90. It could be, for example, offload basic tasks. So Rajiv.
Yep.
This is you. I don't even know you, but this is what I'll be doing right now if you're joining the program. I'll be working out how to get you a day free a week. Okay. I don't know what the answer is because it's never the same for everyone.
Yes. But
I'll be working on how to get a free day a week for you. And it's not so you can go and come and join me on Mondays at the beach in Northern Beaches. It's not that. It's so that you can think about your things that you want to do about your business, which is I take Monday off so I can do my admin stuff at home and a few other things. But it's also so I can think about the business. I love thinking about my business. I love thinking about it. It's part of my joy. Okay, so that's my Monday. It's my time, but I need it. And that's what a lot of business owners need. So it's freeing you up for a day. And then you look at things, what else you need to do? If you're going to hire people, you need a basic career framework. Even for contractors, you need something. Then you need to work out what is your hero service or hero product. Like, what are you famous for? Like, when someone comes to me and says, Ian, what are you famous for at Loading Growth? It's really the Everest program. That's what we're talking about now. So I'll help people scale their businesses. Simple. That's it. Yes, there's a lot of stuff in there, but they know what I do. I can explain to them really quickly. I help scale IT services business. Every now and then, a software business as well. Right? And I'm famous for that. What are you guys famous for? That's what you got to work on. All right. You've got to get good at it. So you could be an MSP guy. Great. But do you have a niche? Do you look after all retail guys? Real estate guys in a region? Do you have solutions for those guys? We've got MSP providers that are looking after healthcare. They're big. They do so much bandwidth because you know what? They're the best in healthcare. When you look at their website, guess what happens? They look like they bloody know what they're talking about. That's for sure. All right. Those guys are going some places. And that's not by accident, but working time with us and spending time with us. But when they're in a lead gen or talking to people or pitching out, they are only pitching to the right people. They're fishing in the right pond for a start, which is what PJ does. And they are catching fish. And that's called a doctor. And that's called a pharmacist. And that's called a radiologist, whatever they are. And they're just pulling them up. And when they go to the website, guess what happens? It looks like they are a specialist in healthcare, MSP for small healthcare. So there's a lot of these places around that have 5 doctors. There's a lot of them. I can't believe it, but there's a shitload. Okay. And they just do that throughout the whole country. And they're really good at it. And they make really good money. You know, it's because they know what they're doing. They've got to focus. And they're famous for it. Okay. Gives you an idea. I've got examples like that for legal. I've got examples for everything. All right, that we do. So just think about that. So we go through these type of things, and it's like basically, you know, we go all through these things, but this is where you guys would start off with. Generally, some of you guys will be level 1. How do we get there? Now we've done the level, we've done, you know, the one-page strategy. We talk about the meeting rhythms, right? That's really important. We talk about sales strategy, plans. We talk about having a basic CRM. In fact, this is a lot of the stuff here is underpinned by a solution we provide, which is called the IMA. That does a basic CRM, basic marketing. Well, it's actually not basic CRM, yes. It's got a marketing automation solution behind it. Does a whole lot of email marketing, phone calling, does everything, SMS, a lot. We use this and we get our clients on here. It's HubSpot and plus the marketing hub of HubSpot. And we build that in here. And the reason why we do this, guys, is because when you go up here and move up, we need to get certain things right. And that's the attract and convert. That's the hardest part for every one of you guys on this call today. It's these 2 areas here. Right? How do I know it? Because that's me 15 years ago. I was exactly the same as you guys. All right? I have 20 clients I talk to one-on-one every week. I'm talking to them. I'm talking to you. It's the same people. All right? It's our community. Your attract and convert is your hardest thing. The best thing for you guys that you love doing is this. Is the deliver part. You're bloody good at it. You can deliver it every day of the week. Okay? This part is part of this part that you can do well. Okay? Not all of it, but there is a part of the scaling part you can do well. RP and the products you do well. The A team, hiring the A team, that's quite hard. All right? So just think about that from that perspective. This is hard for you guys, and part of this is hard. Okay? And this is all easy. So we go through this and we work out where you need to be at. Now, at some stage, you go on there and you go, oh, I need to be at this. We don't need you to be 120%. We just need you to be 30% to be on level 1. So let's do that piece, move on. Let's go to next stage. So we do these things in 6-week gaps, and we actually help you through the 6-week gaps. I do the training on the Thursday for one of these components. So you just have to sit there, open your eyes, listen, have a discussion with us, write a few things down, and implement it, or we help you implement it. That's what it is, the journey. Okay, I systemized all of the stuff. All right, I'm going to have a quick 1 minute break, and then we're going to jump onto the preloaded calendar to finish off. Okay. So I know this is a lot of stuff, guys. So just, do you want to have a minute's break? Just get some air and some water. I'm going to have can we put a 1 minute break there, Mr. PJ? I'm just going to get some water.
Okay, no problem.
I'm going to get some water because I've run out. And then we're going to just do the last piece. And we're going to do it in a very quick. So just get some air for those that are still on here. Thanks.
How's your lunch, G-Man?
Beautiful. Simplicity is part of life.
The greatest things are very simple.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah. I was, I've done many things in my life. One of those was I was a chef for 5 years back in South Africa. I had a big food truck business. And yeah, I love food. Food's my, every time I go to Melbourne, to my brother-in-law, go down to the markets here. Unfortunately, it's not what it is when it was in 2009 when I came over. But yeah, great. I'd live there just for food.
Yes, well, my father is actually came here as a 5-star chef.
Yeah.
Became a publican.
Yeah.
I understand hospitality very, very intimately, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I then went into entertainment myself. Marketing, promoting, then decided to become of all stupid things, a nightclub doorman, of all places. And my claim to fame is 3 fights in 15 years. Because it's one of my best analogies as well when I talk to clients. Especially when we talk about protecting their environments, and I'm like, well, look, I'm an ex-nightclub doorman, and if I can have 3 fights in 15 years, I can damn well protect your premises and your data. So the same concept applies. So I worked a lot of Melbourne's more obscure underground environments where the clientele was quite reserved about dealing with the general public. So we had to be very, very selective of who we let into certain venues.
Sure.
It's quite amazing where you find some QCs go to. Well, yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, I've sort of taken that mentality along with me. I've been in sales, I've been in management positions, but I got, as I say now, the reason why I went to business because I'm sick and tired of talking to stupid owners. So now I'm the stupid owner.
Yeah,
one thing about being a doorman, I mean, a doorman's, it's not all muscle. Doormans are negotiators.
Doorman is 90% brain, 8% mouth, and 5% muscle. And it's amazing how many people stand at the front door and get it wrong.
Exactly.
Over my many years, I remember I bumped into one guy who used to sort of almost like not a mentor, but a colleague, which I used to sort of bounce ideas off. And he goes, "Look, Steve, if you're in this industry long enough, 3 things will eventually happen to you. 1, you will get beaten up. 2, you will get stabbed. And 3rd, you will eventually get shot." I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, okay, not a problem. And granted, you do. There are people out there who they just won't listen. And yes, I have been beaten up, and yes, I have been stabbed, and then I retired because I didn't want to get shot.
Okay, it's good. Segue into the preloaded. Yeah, let's get on to it, guys. So we've got 12 minutes. I've got a hard 1 o'clock stop.
Yep.
I've got another client call. So maybe PJ can pick up a few things, and there's a few links that I'm hoping the team's been sending out. You need to catch up with me. There are some links that I think the team have sent to you guys all to book a calendar meeting and go through some of the stuff. It's okay if you've done some of the work and pitch up that meeting. It's great. The most important thing is around the preloaded calendar. It's the best way to predict your future is to create it, right? So basically what I said with the 4 futures, if you don't do anything, you're going to end up the same way. Okay. It's the same thing. So if you don't predict your future and you don't want to create it, it won't happen. Okay. So if you want to crush 2022, and there's still a long time left in 2022 or the next year, there's 3 things you really got to start doing. Right. And I need you guys to write this up. Really important is you've got to stop. It's this SCS model. You've got to stop the shit that you're doing that isn't working. Saying that as simple as possible. There's a lot of stuff you guys are doing. I talk to my clients all the time, and the small ones, big ones, everyone. They're doing stuff, and I go like, "What are you doing that for?" I'm going to call it out. I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but what is that? Oh, we think it's going to work out, so we're putting more money into it. Okay. How do you know it's going? How do you define what's good and not good? You start a new service line or a product. Tell me what you define as good. They haven't even worked it out yet. All right. So they carry on spending more money, wasting time. So stop doing the shit that doesn't help you out. All right. Carry on with the stuff that's working for you. All right. So what is working for you at the moment? Write them down. All right. So stop being a dumbass entrepreneur. Sometimes I think everyone thinks, oh, it's entrepreneur's curse. We've got to do all these things. Go like, just relax. Just do 3 or 4 things. Make sure they're good at it, and that's it. So stop, doing these X, Y, Z things. All right. Carry on doing these good things that you're doing already. All right. List them. What are the good things? Okay. And then guess what? You need to start doing the things that you should be doing, but you aren't. All right. Like, what are the things that you know you should be doing, but you aren't doing it? I'll give you another example on this one. It goes back to, that roadmap I just showed you, the Everest roadmap. It's the first 2 things that I always talk to people about is, do you have a sales pipeline, or do you have a spreadsheet with sales on it, or do you have a CRM that you've been using every week? And have you got it by tiered 1, 2, 3, and 4? And do you know what you're spending against tier 1, 2, 3, and 4? That's more mature as an organization, all right? But most people aren't even doing that high sales hygiene. So start using your CRM. Could be the scenario, all right? That could be the thing that you need to do. Everyone's got free HubSpot or whatever it is that you're using, all right? But you're not really using it. So what's the point? So let's start doing the things you need to do. I'll go through this exercise. We'll talk about what we need to do. It could be just going to the gym, guys. Get your energy back in your body. Okay, I have 100 lots of tips on that. I have coaches that help me. I've been through this before, a stressful lifestyle. All right. What is it making the right things to get you the right energy? When are you making the phone calls? All right. When you're solving your customers' issues, there's times to do these things. It's actually proven. All right. So get into the rhythm of when you should be doing and what you should be doing. All right. So start doing the stuff you need to do. If you haven't done it, carry on doing the stuff you need to that you should be carrying on with, and stop the stuff that you shouldn't be doing. Because there's a lot of stuff. I look at people and go, like, whew, where were you going with that? Don't know. All right. Have you guys got examples of one of those? Love to hear. Just like, it could be a personal thing as well. It doesn't need, because you're business owners. So if something is not working for you in your personal life, it's impacting your business life. All right. So it could be personal stuff here. So we don't have to talk about that if you don't want to. But what are the things that you need to start doing and not doing? Like, it's hard to be, if you're the business owner, I've got a client, he's a business owner, and he's got like 15 staff. it's hard to keep himself accountable because he's the business owner. It's like no one else talking to him. So he's actually my 1 o'clock call. He's basically, most of the time I'm keeping him accountable. I'm his accountability partner. So I've got a program, I've got a roadmap, and we're going on it. And I'm keeping him accountable. I don't jump up and down, I don't shout at him, because it's not what it's about. Every now and then he needs to be shouted at, and he gets shouted at, but in a nice way. But it's because he needs to do it because he's got his vision for 3 years locked in, and he's serious about it. Okay, so I keep him accountable. It's hard if you're a single owner and you don't have a co-founder. All right, there's actually a lot of stats out there that says if you're a single owner, it's hard to actually grow your business. And one of the reasons is because you've got no accountability partner. As a human, you go through troughs every day, a cycle like this. Once again, there's a lot of material on this. It's like this. Your mood. You could be high and you could have a low point each day. All right? That's a normal person. The problem when you get a person that's got some serious mental issues, it's sort of like you can go high and low, but it's over like a week. You could be a low point for a week. On an average person, on an average day, you have 3 or 4 high and 3 or 4 peak lows, okay, troughs. Now the challenge is, how do you keep yourself motivated when you're trying to close a deal and nothing's working your way and you're at the low point? And the little devil gets on your shoulder and says to you, they ask for a 10% discount. I'm at the low point for the day, right? And you're by yourself. I'm going to give that 10%. I had this call with a client on Friday. The procurement company came, the big company, procurement team came back to them and said, hey, I want a 12.5% discount. I bloody nearly slapped the guy on the Zoom call. I said, who the hell gives 12.5%? Give them 6%, but you want these caveats in place. We worked out a process. Get back on the phone the guy. This is what we're going to talk. This is how you're going to do it. Guess what? Close the deal up. All right? But he's by himself. If he didn't have someone to the phone, he's just going to cave in. He's going to sell a deal and he's going to lose 6.5% on a 400 grand deal. It's a big lot of money. All right. So that's the challenge. Anything that you guys want to quickly add to that? Got 4 minutes left on that. Nope. All right. The next thing is, in this workbook, you should really follow these areas. Okay. The cash flow calendar. You want to make these calendars, set these calendars up so it's set up once. Okay. So basically, once you've got this calendar written up, you actually just have to execute the whole year. All right. So you want to make sure cash flow is king. So really look at that. You want to make sure the calendar is set up so you only have to think once the whole year. And then use execution phase. Have it in a spreadsheet, calendar year in a spreadsheet, not an Outlook initially, because in Outlook, you just lose time, get confused. All right. You want to do stress testing to see that what you can do and achieve against your growth from year 0, 1, 3. Work out what that looks like. Work the plan. Make sure that plan works really, really well. Just fill out these things here. It's the big rocks. Okay. It's the pebbles and it's the sand. You know how to do this, guys. It's all written up. All right. Take your time. Spend 2-3 hours going through this. The sand is really important, but this is what it looks like. This is how the image works. You got a virtual glass. You got the pebbles. You got the sand. Sorry, that's the pebbles. That's the sand. Rocks, pebbles, sand. And what you want to make sure is all these activities that you have here can fit in there. What they can't fit in, and it overflows, you got to take out because you ain't going to achieve it. All right. That's how this mechanism works. You have the sand, you write them all down. You write all the pebbles down and you write all the rocks down for the year, for the rest of this calendar year. You then map it out on the calendar. You just get that spreadsheet and you map out what you can do. You know what I mean? And you then work out, you know, have you got enough time to do everything? Now, 99% of the people I do, I've only done this once with one person who basically, I did the whole exercise over 2-3 hours. And he came back and goes, shit, I got so much more time on my hand than I actually need. So he's taking tennis up on Fridays, goes and plays tennis. He's scheduled his 4 days. He had 5 lazy-ish days. He's made it 4 impactful days, and he's got the 5th day tennis and a few things he does himself. So he's reworked his whole day. He's so happy. When I went through this exercise, we were filling up his jar. I was going, shit, the jar's empty. It's not like overflowing. This isn't working on you, mate. And then I realized it's not that. It's the fact that we can change that into 4-day weeks, right? Now, there are things that you need to do. So you might break up, depends where you're at. It could just be a sales focus. So every day for an hour, you're spending time on sales, or half an hour. Whatever you can afford, you break that up as well, because you need to do sales. And then obviously 2/3 a day could be around delivery. You've got to work out where you're at in your own situation. And you might have admin or something else.
Time check for Ian, because you got to.
Oh shit, yeah. So Peter, I've got you there.
Yep.
Do you want to just talk to the guys and?
Yeah, I'm going to answer any questions. You know,
Yeah.
go through any stuff they need to do for the next 5 minutes. No problem.
Yeah, I've got to get the calendar's been put in there. Do you want to just walk through the calendar, show the guys how to get onto the calendar, book a time in with me if they need one?
Yeah.
If you can just do that. And then basically, we can go through this, but if you've got any questions on this, we can go through it again. Okay. So it'll be worthwhile for you guys. And then at the end, if you want of that session, if you want to join the program, I'll just have a quick 2-minute chat with you. That's it. And then you either join in or not. But the most important thing is you're going to be able to do some stuff today. And even if you don't come on to the next session, it doesn't matter. I want you guys to do something with it. Because I speak to a lot of clients 3 years later and they're still stuck where they're at now. And I go, you've wasted 3 years of your life. I don't say that to them, but that's exactly what I feel for the poor bastards. All right, I've got to love you and leave you. It's awesome to have you guys. Thanks for everyone that's participated, and we'll chat later.